right, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everyone. My name is Winnie Mahaga, and I'm joined by Miss Ngala. Hi, Miss.
Hi.
And we are here as Inset CPD, and I'm hoping you're having a good time. Welcome to our channel. If you're joining us for the first time, this is a channel where, Miss, what do we talk about?
We talk about professional development for teachers, and so that's the name, Inset CPD. So Inset, if you've been in the teaching circles, Inset simply means in-service training for teachers.
Yeah.
So Inset CPD is just in-service training for teachers with their continuous professional development wherever they are posted. So that's what we talk about in Inset CPD, changing one teacher's life one at a time.
Oh, good. And so today we are talking about the foundation of Inset CPD, which is professional development. And I'm sure, if, as Miss has said, if you've been in this space long enough, you know professional development and teaching go hand in hand. Not just teaching, in any career. You cannot just be in one space throughout. But before we do, maybe we can talk about what's the traditional professional development, specifically for teachers. What does it look like?
I think
the one that we don't like.
I think about your time as a teacher. At the end of the day, most of the time there's a day set aside for training. So you'll sit together, there'll be maybe a moderator or somebody coming to talk about something, or there are those who are taken to a certain place and maybe a day or two of workshop. And again, there's somebody going over one thing or the other. And a lot of times it lacks continuity, if you ask me. And or space, like you do an action research so that you're back to what you've learned. And teachers, I feel, start to resent it. I will say this though, the traditional CPD has its space, but I also feel there's more that can be done. Yeah.
I feel, just to adding out to that, for me, actually what we're talking about is the traditional professional development assumes that whoever is planning knows the needs of the teachers. And so you just kind of pour it to them. This is what we're looking at today. This is what we're looking at today. And so some of the things that they're learning are not tailor-made for their needs. And then sometimes also you feel, even if they really are eager to learn, the timing is off. You've had you've been marking, you've had a crazy day. Like basically the schedule is just too tight for you to take in any more information. And so while you want to grow yourself, at this moment, there's only much you can do.
Okay, so the traditional approach also not only waits for when you're tired, but the trainer or the convener sometimes needs to also discover where the teacher is at. Specifically, maybe you are a new teacher, a new career teacher,
an early career teacher,
yes. Or maybe you've been there for so long and all you know is your yellow pages, and so you feel you are so good at this, you don't need somebody else to come to teach you otherwise. Either way, you find that there's extreme ends, and the traditional CPD cannot really reach this teacher, because ultimately, our clients, the students, are the ones who get to gain from you once the professional development is effective.
And for me, my take is, if effective professional development starts in the classroom. Stay with me. What I mean is, we have lesson observations happening every other time, right? We have class visits happening. And this could be happening at a departmental level, at section level. So once and even peer-to-peer reviews. So once that is done, we are picking a few of the things that we feel we are all struggling with, okay? So for example, if you come to a year 11 class and you find the teacher who may be teaching French was struggling with engaging the students more. So their teacher has very good content, they prepared well, but you will see the students were not very well engaged. The first thing you're picking is that learner experience is minimal, right? And therefore, you're kind of signaling it out and saying this teacher will need this kind of support in this kind of environment. And then you find out, so that is in foreign languages. You find in sciences, they're also doing the same, and they also pick something else. So from that, when the curriculum leads come together, they are sieving out and saying, so for me, the predominant one was 1, 2, 3, okay? And then from there, those teachers, specific teachers whose needs were identified, are put together and trained in those specific areas. And there's a champion. For example, if you are a champion in classroom management, all the teachers that had those challenges are paired with you, and you work with them maybe throughout that term. And then it's easy now because you can say within this term, we'll be focusing on this group, on classroom management, and at the end of it all, Ms. Ngala was the champion who was working with these teachers, and can we now go back and see? Okay? In fact, you're going to be observing every other time. And then now we can all go back and see. So I went last time in January, now this is mid-May. Can I go just to see if there's been an improvement? Now, this way, we are able to track sort of that this is where this teacher was. And now I'm speaking from kind of a leadership perspective. Yes, and this is where the teacher has gone, because professional development has to do with growth.
That's right.
Okay, and growth cannot happen before we identify the gaps. And the gaps, the best way to identify is through class visits, lesson visits, class observation, and of course sometimes just peer-to-peer discussions. So the first one, I remember I talked about the class visit. Sometimes you can also just come and tell me, Miss, I'm really having a problem with ICT integration, okay? And so you being, for example, being the champion, if I tell you that, you'll be like, of course, what areas do you want? And then you'll be able to tell me, this is what I use, this is what I use, this is what I use. And so every other time I have a challenge in anything to do with technology, I'll be like, hey, Miss, I'm here again. So that one, it doesn't have to be official. It's just me looking out for the information that I need to make my class better. The other one can also be just the feedback I get from students. Remember, the first one was the admin bit where they come and observe. The second one is myself, what I felt. The third one is the students. Sometimes they just, Miss, our English lessons are boring. Why don't we read sometimes? Why don't you go to the lab? Why can't we have a reading corner? Why can't we have this and this and this? That feedback is enough to challenge you to feel, okay, what can I do better? And then now you can jituma to say, this is what I want to do differently so that my students enjoy their lessons. So professional development, I insist, begins in the classroom. Because as a teacher, why are you learning? So that you're a better teacher in delivering the content, giving feedback, and all those things. I don't know if there's anything else you can add on the traditional before we move to what is the now modern way of going about it.
No, you seem to have covered the bases. Feedback is one of the things that tells us that traditional does not help 100%. From that feedback, from the peers, from the students, from even for yourself, and one of the ways that will tell you that what I've been training on is not working would be like the results, if you're at a result-oriented school. So the results will tell you, well, but I tried this, but it's not been working. So some of your continuous assessment results will also tell you if your professional development has been working, especially to reach the specific students you really wanted to
targeted,
reach. So if you ask me, we don't want to demonize the traditional professional development, but there's got to be a step further where we go to make sure it's effective, it is measurable, you can actually plan next steps based on the quality of professional development, and this has to have the teacher at heart. So based on everything you're saying, when the teacher knows that this professional development is for me, then the outcome for the student gets to be much better. Let's call it much better, yes.
Okay.
And you've alluded to something, I don't know if that's what you're going to talk about us next. Like now that we know that we are looking at the heart of the teacher to develop the professional life of this teacher, what then is the next step?
But just before we come to that, I also thought about something. We need to say this. Any school, the bare minimum is to have structures for professional development.
Yeah, that's true.
Even if it's traditional, just have it. It is a good place to start, because now it is easier to create that ripple effect to the rest of the members of staff. But just have the structures from the administration. Let's have that protected time when we have professional development. That becomes easier for us to move from traditional to what we are looking at now. Now, having talked about the traditional bit and some of the flaws that it has, we need to appreciate also that the modern teacher is different, right? The modern teacher is different. The modern teacher will okay, generally a teacher is not easy to teach. You see like the way you sit in class and you belabor a point and students are listening and all that. That happens with students. With teachers, they don't like that, because we know I don't know, we've been there for too long, we know. So we are the worst students. And so if you're going to stand before teachers to talk about anything, you need to really push yourself, because otherwise we'll just be looking at you and go to your phones, and then we send ourselves memes.
There's somebody who says that teachers are very well informed. So whatever you're bringing to the table for teachers to consume, you really must know what you're talking about and be able to capture their attention, because
and
by virtue of capture and sustain, that's right. By virtue of being teachers, our minds, you see the way you enter a class, you have 20, 30, 50 students of different personalities. It's our maybe default setting. So our minds go to so many places within the same place. So as professional development, as the academia and the admin staff is planning for professional development, I think it's important that they know how is this going to be delivered.
Yeah. So because the teacher is different, generally a teacher is different. Now a modern teacher is I don't know, times what you can imagine. So that means whatever program you come up with, if it is not meeting the needs of that teacher, they'll switch off. Because of compliance, they will still come. But while they're there, they're going to do what they feel is going to kind of bring more. So they'd rather, as I said, send each other memes or whatever. And if you say they have to sit and not be on their phones, they'll sit and not be on their phones, but they'll they'll do everything.
They'll have switched off.
They'll switch off. And so the whole point is we're trying to avoid a scenario where a teacher actually switches off. And so they seize the value of professional development. Now, remember we talked about earlier and said that professional development begins in the classroom. Point number 2, I feel professional development begins in the classroom and then is developed or grows from the teacher's attitude and the teacher's initiative. So if you're not feeling, if a teacher doesn't have the inherent need to do and be better, no matter how many programs you come up with, it is all in vain.
It's got to be intrinsic.
So what is the role of a school? To make sure that every teacher feels naturally, I have to become a better person, right? And to get to the level where the teachers now appreciate that I'm going to grow myself. Actually, once you get there, even if you have structures or not, it doesn't matter, because these teachers are pushing themselves continuously to be better. So the traditional is, as you said, but the modern is understanding that the teachers are different, their needs are different. And so how do we meet these needs? So if it's going to be a workshop, Miss, take us through what would be different in a modern teacher's workshop that would happen in a traditional workshop.
What I would do better?
Yes.
Every teacher has this. A phone. I would engage them from the phone, because they'll still be on the phone anyway. So I would start the conversation.
You might make it count,
Make it count. When you're at it, make it count. So whatever discussion you're having or whatever topic you're addressing that day, be it classroom management, send a poll. Start with a poll, for instance.
Get feedback.
Get feedback. What is your... let's talk about... classroom management, for instance. Just send a poll asking, this week, how many times have you had embarrassing moments
in class?
And you find out, just it's a number, and it starts engaging us back and forth. So with that kind of thing, they realize, okay, this will be interesting. Then you talk, then back to the phone. And this is just one way to it. And then don't let teachers just be recipients. We are doers.
I know.
So yes, you're still teaching us the traditional thing, but now we start getting a different approaches to teaching and learning. And so let us workshop this actually. Decide that you're going to have groups of people and we have actual discussion, create a model of sorts, and then have the teachers be right there doing, presenting. And then again, the phone is very...
comes in handy.
It really comes in handy. So you can even continue the conversation on the phone. Let's start the conversation. Or even record yourself, the teacher, speaking about something that you have really appreciated. What would you want next? Because this is also collecting data that you, the professional development provider, is giving. So what did you appreciate about this? What was hard? What, So yes, you have trained, but from the recipient's angle, what did they learn? What would they wish to get more? I think that kind of data helps you to now curate the the school needs and based on the needs of the students that the teachers meet. Now, from an admin point of view, when you look at what the teachers are asking for, then it starts to shift how you're doing professional development because you're meeting the needs of these teachers.
Exactly.
I think that's one of the ways I would do it. And also, personally, sitting still for an hour, 2 hours, I confess I'm those who will be very distracted. So I need to be engaged, to talk, to do, for me to feel that this was effective.
It's necessary, it's important.
Yeah, but one other way, sorry for cutting you, one other way would be, we don't have to come and sit and listen to you. Engage us in a virtual training.
Yeah.
Right now, there's a lot of virtual space out there. Can be a Google Meet, it can be a Meet from the
Teams,
it can be Zoom. They're all over. Even a WhatsApp call that is a conference call. Have the teachers engage and just talk so that you're meeting them where they are at. Don't make them cut short their weekend or cut short their holiday or even a long evening to sit still to listen to you. I can do that at the comfort of my home or at the comfort of some place else, but we are engaging very, very well. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's kind of sums it up. But also, what I love is, how about we make professional development relatable?
Yes.
When I say relatable, I mean, as a teacher, what are things that matter to me? What are things that matter to me? There are things that are very, I don't know, they're good, but they're not good enough.
Yeah.
They're not worth sitting and listening for an hour. And sorry to put it in that way. That means that whatever you're going to be talking about, it should be such a thing that I look at my teaching career and look at everything I do from morning to evening. I'm ticking boxes and say, it's applicable, it's relatable. So that when I'm sitting there, if my mind wanders, it wanders to that classroom, to how can I make it better?
Right.
If my mind wanders, it wanders to that worksheet to see, that one I didn't do good. It doesn't wander to, what if I had KFC now? You know? So the relatability of the content is what makes me want to continue having that session. Because I'm thinking, this is necessary, this is important.
Yes.
And then make your session data-driven, meaning that everything that you're saying, you can say, let's say we say 10% of teachers are fully engaged in professional development. You know how alarming that is? When you say 10%, I'm like, am I among the 10%?
That's right.
If I'm not, why? So the data makes the message reach home much easily, because I can say I am or I am not, and if I'm not, why am I not? And also, the same data can talk about the results. We're looking at, Winnie, you teach French, and for the 8 years you've taught French, the highest student has gotten a B. Okay? In fact, as a school,
we are concerned.
We are late to do this, because the first time when the results come out and the first student has a B already, it should be, why? Where are the A's? Where are the A-stars? And so that questioning is what brings the need for me to feel I need to do better, right?
Yeah.
So it needs to begin at a point where I feel I need to do something better. Then I initiate the discussion and I initiate the activity that's going to make me be a better person. So the relatability has to do with what am I doing wrong and what can I improve.
That's
and
right.
how does this affect me? I'm a candidate, I teach candidate class, so yes, I teach handwriting. How am I supposed to teach handwriting better? Do I have students who write like they're sitting on a toilet seat with a running stomach? Yes, I do. How do I improve? I just want those bits help me to be a better teacher.
Yeah.
But if you're talking about things that are abstract, as soon as you start, we switch off. And this is not just in Kenya. Teachers around the world, you ask them, they'll behave
the exact
exactly
same way.
cut from the same script.
You know the memes that cut across the globe for teachers, man. There. Yeah.
They never complete the syllabus in time. By the way, that's also another thing, a strategy. How do you make sure whatever you're teaching uses, what happens when the business studies teacher completes what they're supposed to teach within that time, and it is 2 weeks to KCSE, you're still struggling with things that you were doing in term 1. Like, what have you been doing wrong? What are some of the... So these are some of the real topics that teachers would want to learn about.
Yeah.
How do you make sure you complete the syllabus in time? And when you finish the syllabus in time, does it mean the students will do better? Because you can also rush by March, you're done. But if you ask them something they learned in Form 3, they can't remember. Grade
So
9, they cannot remember. Grade 10, they cannot remember because you just finished for yourself. Okay? So things that relate to teachers, they will take personally, they'll push to do better, they will want to focus in that direction.
So are you saying that when a teacher feels that their competency was questioned, most of it should then nudge them to want to get better? It's not a judgment kind of thing. It's not a judgment, hear me. It's not a judgment per se, but when I know that there's data based on what I've been doing, then it would change. It would make me want to change how I've been doing things so that I see the new outcome.
To be honest, I feel that's the right way to do. The only difference is how do you pass that information across, because it can be a summon to the head teacher's office. Now, over the pass, then there's a rant, then you go out. You wouldn't want to do anything. But if it's a discussion where I'm able to understand where I came from, what the students did, what I did, whatever it is, it didn't work. We need to go back to the drawing board and check our results again. Then I'll feel the need to do better and be better, because I've been listened to, I've been treated well, I've not been disrespected in the process. Remember also, criticism is feedback, but we talk about positive criticism. You don't want also to bring the teacher down, like, of all the results that are coming out, you're the only, and it has to be in a very...
It needs to be professional, but also just consider it's a person, it's a human being receiving that info.
Exactly.
But then something has come to my mind, and that means as an administration, then you need to be keen on guiding your team to do a SWOT analysis.
Exactly. Yes.
So that, you see, when I do my own SWOT analysis and I'm very intentional and just be
honest,
honest and transparent about it, then you'll see where are my areas of weakness, so that when I'm looking at that is the outcome I presented this year, what did not work. I don't
even have to wait to be told,
and over the years you'll notice, hey, this class I'm already worried because from this trend I know what's expect.
Going to come.
Rarely do you get surprises, but they do come. But then as a leader, let's say you're in the leadership, the senior leadership, then you would be able to guide your team to start thinking from the outcomes that they've presented, from these results. And it's not even just the academic results, even just the culture and the behavior of the school. Let's go back to the drawing board. As a teacher, let's do a personal analysis before I analyze you. Just analyze what is your strength as a teacher, what is your weakness, what are opportunities for you to grow. And then where are you going to do the transformation? Because right there, then it makes me want to intrinsically change, and I'll approach that CPD session from a positive perspective.
Open mind.
Yes.
That's very good insight. And then, now that you brought it, we're also looking at a situation where that if you really we want to, the whole point of professional development is to improve the teacher, so that we can improve the class, so that we can improve the school, so that we can all become a better society, sort of, right? And so from that understanding, therefore, that as a teacher, I am able to do continuous assessment of where I'm coming from. Sometimes the people, and I don't want to say line managers, who wait until you see, like, you're driving on a steep slope, the brakes are not working, you wait until the car has gone into the river, and then you say, I knew that car was going to go to the river.
What did you
Where were you when it was going to the river? Why do you wait until the first student has a B for you to point it out? Also professional development, the whole point is to make sure we arrest some of these challenges before, because we also don't want to waste as a whole academic year, a whole semester, just so that we report bad results. You understand?
That's right.
Professional development is supposed to be in such a way that we can foresee challenges, we can foresee the possible results that will not be very pleasant, and arrest the situation, improve ourselves, work with the students, talk to the parents, engage everyone that is involved, so that by the time the results are out, if they're still not good, we can say we did our best.
That's right.
Because that's what gives you any teacher the peace of mind that I've done everything I can, and if it's still like this, then I know it's not, the burden is not on me. I did everything I could.
Yeah. Wow. I think that angle then takes us, we kind of are talking about our next steps. And as it is, a teacher cannot walk alone in this journey. I will tell you, you can't try walking alone. You will get to some level, But it is said, if you
You'll
want
be
to
the
go
only one who
further,
still prescribes Panadol when people have moved to the other painkillers, the latest ones. There's another one, malaria queen. Is it malaria queen? People don't even use it anymore. I don't know if this. Yes, so you'll be that doctor.
Yeah.
The one Mr. Karanja likes to talk about.
I tell you. Yeah, but like, I'm getting your point. I really am. But what I'm saying, if you want to walk alone, better walk alone. But what we're prescribing is work with another teacher, work with another professional. It doesn't have to be somebody who's been in the profession as long as you. It doesn't have to be somebody in the same subject. In essence, Winnie, you know what I'm trying to describe.
Exactly.
Work with a team so that you go far. Because there's so much you can do by yourself, but when you're a team, the load is easier, the load is more engaging. What am I talking about?
Yeah, we're talking about professional learning communities.
Right. That's what I was trying to describe. So tell us more.
Professional learning communities are basically small groups of people that are like-minded. Okay, like we know we want to go to this direction, or this is our challenge. It's like chamas, but now chamas for professionals. So what do you meet? When you meet, you're looking at what are some of our greatest achievements? What is your strength? I'm in music, I'm in drama, I'm in art, I'm in this field. And then we pull our energies together and then we do a SWOT analysis. What are some of the greatest challenges we've had so far? What are our weaknesses as a team? Whether we are 5 or 6 or 12, regardless. What are our weaknesses? Then once you've identified, we become each other's accountability partners. An accountability partner is someone who's going to ask you those difficult questions that will help you to check yourself and to become a better person. Now, this is not where we are like the kind of moshene kind of thing where you're feeling someone is picking on you and making you feel bad. It is where if I tell you, hey, miss, I've been to your art class, that was really good. You're like, I know. And then there are people who, when they tell you something, you're like, she's my friend. Of course she'll say it's good. But when someone else says, oh, this was good, you're like, okay, so it was really good. So most of the time you'll find even this professional learning community, they don't really have to be your buddies. They can be people, as long as you're sharing the same dream, you come together and you talk about things that are affecting you and how to improve your teaching. I think most of the time we're looking at pedagogy and the approaches, so that every day when you go to the classroom, you're coming back with feedback and you're sharing it with your friends.
Allow me to ask you, because there are those who've not heard about PLCs before, and so allow me to make this a bit more personal. Have you been in a PLC? What was the advantage for you? How has that grown you, if you have? And so that the command for advocating for PLCs as a journey or an approach.
It makes the most sense.
Yes.
Okay. Personally, I've been part of a PLC actually, and initially when I joined one, I was like, okay, do I even have the time to be meeting every other time? But our first meeting was just basically to get to know each other and so on and so on. Then after that, we moved the PLC to WhatsApp so that we can easily communicate, and that made it easier because first, when you come across anything that you feel it's informative, it can help the group, you post it there. If you come across something about classroom management, about the new trends, just put it there. And even if it's at whatever time, I will read it when I'm available. So, and then it made it easier for us to agree on a time when we are supposed to meet. So we also took protected time. We said we're going to be meeting at this time on this specific day, and we kind of held each other accountable. And we would call, have you arrived? Where are you? And so it was easier to just, if I don't come, I feel I need to look for you. You tell me, what did you discuss? And so on and so on. Number 3, we also had class visits. So we had each other's timetable. So you would find, so for example, you're free at lesson 2, but I'll be having French at that time. So you can hop into my French lesson. You don't have to know French. Just come and see. If you're a teacher, you'll see if students are enjoying, if they're having a good time, if the lesson is going on well. And then from there, you can give me authentic feedback. Like, yeah, your lesson was good, but your class, man, it needs some rearrangement. That is good feedback, because now I'm looking at it like, okay, so next time I need to look at how the class environment is. And then in addition to that, we also had celebrated each other's personal gains, right? So if you're starting to do a master's, you tell us about it. If you're comfortable, we don't insist. You tell us about it, and then you tell us how the journey is. If you're doing anything personal in your life, you're saying you're going to get married, you're expecting a baby, or you are eyeing this and want this and this. We also just kind of jump in to see. But this, I need to say a disclaimer, it's not a must, because it's a professional learning community. You also don't want a situation where it's hard to separate what you know personally about someone and their professional life, because while they go hand in hand, it's better if you keep it as professional as possible. So if you have to meet, avoid meeting at someone's house. Or if you're meeting at someone's house, it has to be someone who you're not going to go to the kitchen, you're not going to be picking together as you're meeting. No, someone has cooked for you guys. You're just meeting to eat. So it's still professional, because when you break those boundaries, it becomes a bit salty. It becomes a bit uncomfortable. So, and then one thing I also loved from that is, number one, they were able to tell me challenges. Not challenges, my weaknesses. Sometimes if you always are judging from inside the box, you always think you are little miss perfect, you know. But when someone is outside the box, they will tell you, this is what I was able to see. It's a 360 view. It's more defined. It's more authentic. And that's what I got. So what did the professional learning community do for me? It made me more aware of myself, my strength, my weaknesses. I became more sociable. I became, I had an accountability partner, not just one, almost 3 or 4. And then now, if you have a leader with you, you can also comfortably share the challenges you're facing with that leader, and they don't feel attacked, sort of, you know. They're feeling like, this is my junior who's comfortable, who's free enough to tell me this is what we are facing, and I don't think it's nice. And so the leader also can get authentic feedback from you guys on how the leadership is going. For example, if you're with your HOD and you tell them this is what, even if it's not your HOD, a HOD in other department, and you tell them, I think you're really mean on your members. My HOD doesn't do that. You don't. That doesn't have to be an email. You know, some of the things that you're going to give as feedback are going to help the other person know, okay, yeah, this, I just needed to call Miss and tell her this was not good. We don't have to talk about it again. That's it. You only send an email after you've talked, it's not working, then you need the evidence. It's cover your
bases.
Email, So that email is supposed to help you, so that in case someone asks what you did, you're like, on 13th of February I sent you an email, I sent you another one on 14th of April, I sent you another one on 3rd of August, and still no improvement. So clearly you are the problem, you see. So in such a situation, you can advise where someone is overstepping, and they comfortably can retreat and say, yeah, this is where I need to improve. That's on my side. What about you, Miss? I'm sure you've been part of PLCs that have been fruitful, they've helped to build you. Would you like to share with us some of your experiences with the PLC?
Actually, I've been with PLCs since, it's been many years, since 2013. And my first PLC, the Professional Learning Community, I didn't think that it would work, because I thought for a professional learning community to work, I needed to have people of the same subject. You'll be surprised. I teach art. My community had somebody from biology, another one from physics, another one from literature.
Wow, diverse.
So it was so diverse. But what I learned that is, first of all, and I remember one member who kept saying, remain professional. Our objective here is to ensure the students learn. Our objective here is to ensure you get better. So when they visited my classrooms, then gave me feedback. This is how you engage. This is how you should have. Then, this you did very, very well. Or plan better this way. So when I went to a different teacher who had command of his space, in fact, he was really a celebrated teacher, his approach was so different from mine. And we're not saying that you're supposed to be the same as them, but I admired how he had command of a class, which the same class would come to my space and they would be
all over the place.
So then I needed to study, what is he doing differently? You'll be surprised it was as simple as just writing the objective first and analyzing the objective with the students before they started learning. So and this was a physics teacher. So you see, I learned...
So it doesn't have to be within the same department?
Not really, not really. So that was my first encounter with professional learning community. Fast forward, over the years, I've had like 3 or 4 different PLCs, and the previous one that I was in was equally good because I was working with the early careers teachers and one who's been there for long. So it was really diverse. What we're saying with PLCs is that there's always something you learn from the other person. You never really are the command in the subject. And because the caliber of the learners we are meeting these years are very different. Our learners are very diverse needs. So you can't be doing the same thing you've been doing over and over and expect a change of results. Our children are very unique. So yes, PLCs help me by virtue of just meeting, because we also meet bi-weekly. And yes, we communicate on WhatsApp, but a lot of times I enjoy the physical meetings because it's at that point where we actually discuss, hey, I saw that class. That went wrong. Just let's agree, and or that was really good. Either way, the intro was good or the outro, but either way, the classroom's outcome looked in such and such a way. See, when I listen to that person from their angle, like you said, they are giving me an objective feedback that then will help me respond to my classrooms better. And then even you'll notice, oh, so I should try this. Or we get to understand, okay, this class has these dynamics and I've used this particular strategy in the past. Try it. If it works, yes. If it doesn't, then let's figure it out again.
Let's sit together again and figure out what
because it's on the ground learning for the teacher.
Good.
So yeah, that's been my experience.
All right. So as we come to the end, we need to understand that professional development is not what the school does for you. It is what you as a teacher has sat down, analyzed what you need, and are working towards a certain goal. So ideally, it's supposed to be as it is, continuous, meaning what you learned today, you learn something tomorrow, you keep learning something as you move forward. And the bar keeps getting higher and higher and higher. Basically, if professional development is to work, it has to start with who is winning. What are some of her strengths? What are some of her weaknesses? And moving forward, what can she improve on those weaknesses? And how can she share those strengths with other members of staff in the professional learning community, in a workshop, or in any other option, in any other opportunity? But just to underscore what we've just talked about, professional development starts with the teacher, but it's implemented better if the whole administration is on board. So yes, as a teacher, the teacher
needs to be a school program.
I need to mention this. When I came from my previous station, when I joined my current station, I was coming from a place where professional development was so specific to specific needs. And then when I came, I realized it's literally everything. It's so broad. And so for a minute, I was like, losing I don't want to say the morale or that positive attitude and the one I was oozing about professional development. I need to do better, I need to feel better. Let me say this. Sometimes you think you're a hero because you're in a rat race, right? Everyone is average. And so you're just doing a little bit above average, and then you stand out. And then you think you're very okay. But if you're in an environment where everyone is really, nobody's doing the bare minimum, everyone is really trying to push themselves, you find yourself even also doing the same. So it has to come from administration where you are continuously rewarding those people who are improving themselves. If you go and do a master's, I do a doctorate, I do this inset trainings or these workshops, the school will notice and recognize. That's a way of motivating. It means the school is part of it. But that aside, even if the school does not buy into it, look at it as yourself. I want to become better. I want to improve myself. But I want to repeat, it is better when the school administration is on board. If it's a school program, then everyone who's buying into it is buying into the very positive attitude, and they're challenging themselves better every day.
I take
What's your parting shot? Yes.
I take that you're actually now addressing the school administration, and we are advocating for continuous professional development. Not one-off, not once a term, not once a month. It needs to be ongoing. That's what I take. And I think that's what insetcpd is
all
advocating.
About,
and as my parting shot, we are constantly growing. The universe is not static. There's constant movement. And so just like I mentioned earlier, the caliber of learner, the 21st century learner, the Gen Alpha, Beta, even Z, they're very different from the millennials. So there's constant change. And so as a teacher, it is your personal mandate to want to grow. Why are you growing? So that you're relevant. Because if you don't grow, the children, and they feel nothing telling their peers or even their parents that Miss So-and-so or Mr. So-and-so doesn't seem to know what they're doing, or is so boring. So for you to remain relevant, just get off the couch and learn something new. Pay attention and then try, because you've got what it takes. You're already a professional. Now just improve that. And I'm continuing to improve. I believe you're improving. The friends I meet and those I engage with also tend to challenge me a lot more, so that I want to keep growing myself to be a better teacher. And that's what we're doing. We're impacting teachers every day.
Right? One teacher at a time. Maybe my parting shot. I'm sorry, this one has just come. I also needed to mention that regardless of where you are, you cannot teach for 20 years and you're just a classroom teacher. If you've been teaching for that long, why are you just a classroom teacher? Why are you just... I don't know. I know there's some missing link somewhere. You need to grow, even if it's not in that space where you're now HOD and all that. No, you need to grow into other aspects of who you are as a person. Can you play? Can you be a DJ? It's a skill that is just there. What else can you do apart from being a teacher? What else can you do? Can you play chess? Can you play ballet? What can you do? So, in addition to just the basic skill of imparting knowledge, what else can you bake? Can you color? Can you draw? I don't know. There's just something. You have to grow. You cannot be just a classroom teacher 20 years later. And signing out from Inset CPD, this is Miss Winnie.
And this is Miss Agnes Ngala.
Yeah, this is Inset CPD, changing the life of a teacher, one teacher at a time. See you next time.
Bye-bye.
Subscribe, follow, like.
Yes, please.
Look forward for another video. Bye-bye. Thank you.